Epic Games Store is one of the most interesting cases in PC gaming history. On paper, it should be loved by everyone, right? It gives away free games every single week, sometimes even massive AAA titles that people paid full price for. It is of course backed by Epic Games, the company behind Fortnite and Unreal Engine, two of the biggest forces in the industry. And yet, despite all of this, Epic Games Store still receive an unbelievable amount of hate from PC gamers. Meanwhile, Steam continues to dominate the platform without even trying to compete on free game giveaways. So this raises a very simple but an important question. Why do so many gamers dislike Epic Games Store, and why does Steam still feel untouchable? To understand this, we need to look beyond free games and marketing promises and focus on how these platforms actually feel to use every day. When most gamers open Steam, it feels like stepping into a very familiar place. Your library is there, your friends are online, discussions are active, guides are available. So even after all these years, the platforms still feel alive. But the Epic Games Store, on the other hand, often feel more like a digital shop than a gaming ecosystem. It looks modern and clean, but once you get past the homepage, honestly there is very little to interact with. For many players, this difference alone creates a sense of Steam is the home for the gamers, while the Epic Games Store is simply the place to collect free games and leave. Alright, one of the biggest mistakes Epic made was launching the store without the essential features and assuming the gamers would patiently wait for these improvements. And no doubt, Steam spent decades building these tools that PC gamers now considered as basic necessities, such as user reviews, community hubs, mod supports, achievements, and also Steam family sharing. Epic launched without most of these features and tried to slowly add them over time. While it might sound reasonable for a business perspective, but the gamers did not see it that way. To them, Epic Store feel like an unfinished, more like an early access launcher that somehow became permanent. And of course, us PC gamers are extremely vocal and extremely opinionated, and we are very quick to lose trust. And I feel like the Epic Games Store underestimated just how much these things matter. And the situation became even worse when Epic Store introduced that paid exclusive deals. And this is the moment that many gamers stopped giving Epic the benefit of the doubt. PC gaming has always been an open platform where players expect choice, but when games suddenly pull out from Steam and made exclusive to Epic Store, no doubt it created frustration and anger. I remember a couple of examples, the games like Rocket League and Fall Guys. Both were super popular titles, initially launched on Steam, and both were paid as well. But now both of these games exclusive to Epic Games Store, but thankfully they made them free to play. And also some big AAA titles like Hellblade 2 and Alan Wake 2, which was initially exclusive to Epic Games Store, but games like Hellblade finally came into the Steam. So with that, the gamers felt forced into a launcher that they did not really like, not because it was better, but because there was no alternative. Ironically, Epic Games' most generous feature is also one of the reasons people don't really respect the platform. I feel like the free game program is genuinely incredible, and no other store has given away free games at that scale for such a long time. I have personally close to like 500 free games on my account, worth I believe more than $10,000+. But however, many people treat Epic Games Store like a free game vending machine rather than a platform they actually want to spend time in. They log in, claim the free game, maybe install it, play it for a couple of hours, then go straight back to Steam to play their favorite titles. Epic Store succeeded in building massive libraries for the users, but failed to build an emotional attachment or long-term loyalty to the platform itself, which is kind of disappointing. Steam's biggest advantage has never been the discounts or the giveaways, it has always been the trust and the community. User reviews on Steam immediately tell you if a game is broken, abandoned, or secretly amazing. Community discussions help players to fix bugs, improve performance, and discover mods within hours of release. Plus, the Steam Workshop has kept countless games alive years beyond their original lifespan. And compared with Steam, Epic only got that crappy star rating system for their games, which literally tell nothing to the user. And they avoided this deep community system integration early on, possibly due to reduce negativity, but doing so, it removed one of the most important tools for PC gamers rely on to make informed decisions. This gap between two platforms became even more obvious with the release of Steam Deck and SteamOS, also with the very recently announced upcoming Steam Machine. When Valve launched the Steam Deck back in 2022, it wasn't just a handheld PC, it was a clear statement about Steam's future. And Valve clearly showed us that the Steam is no longer just a launcher, it's a complete ecosystem that works across desktops, laptops, handheld devices, and even living room setups. SteamOS pushed Valve to massively improve the controller support, UI scaling, big picture mode, mode, offline functionality, and performance tools. And the key detail is that these improvements didn't stay exclusive to the Steam Deck. Most of the functions, like the recently added Steam recording feature, finally came into the Steam PC launcher. That means every Steam user benefited from them even if they never touched the handheld. And this is where Epic falls even further behind. Epic Store is still designed almost entirely around the traditional desktop experience with limited controller focus features and no broader platform vision. Steam meanwhile now works seamlessly whether you are using the mouse and keyboard at desk or a controller on a couch or a handheld device on the go. Steam Deck verified games, per game performance settings, Steam input, and deep controller customization have quietly become in the quality of life features that us PC gamers now take it for granted. And also we gotta talk about the SteamOS, and no doubt Valve heavily invested in this open Linux-based operating system that benefit both PC gaming as a whole, not just Steam. And I feel like SteamOS is much more optimized when it comes to controller support, plus the overall performance when it compared with the Windows 11. But keeping all that aside, Steam is honestly not perfect, but it's very reliable. The downloads are very easy to manage, the offline mode works as expected, and the launcher rarely surprises you in any bad way. But on the other hand, the Epic Games Store, even after all those years, still struggle with very slow loading times, random logouts, and very limited control over your download or your large library. Even simple things like, for an example, changing your account password, it just simply links you to open up your web browser, which is super annoying. These might sound like small issues, but when a launcher is something that you open every day, small frustrations slowly turn into big dislikes. When we compare these two platforms, we gotta talk about the refund policy. Steam's refund policy is very simple, fast, and straightforward. Within the first 2 weeks of your purchase, with less than 2 hours of playtime, you can simply get a full refund, no questions asked, even if you complete 100% of the game within that period. And that makes players feel very safe trying out new games and buying games on Steam in general. On the other hand, the Epic Games Store does offer refunds, but the process doesn't feel as smooth or as transparent. And to be clear, Epic Games Store is not useless, dying, or beyond saving. The platform has improved significantly since launch, and Epic offers strong support for developers with better revenue split, which I believe like 12% compared to the 30% cut that Steam get every time they sell a game. So no doubt it's a clear advantage for smaller developers and publishers. The problem is that Epic focus heavy on the developers while assuming the player would follow naturally. Steam did the complete opposite, and that difference in philosophy still defines both platforms today. So in the end, I would say the gamers don't really hate Epic Games Store because of free games, Fortnite, or blind brand loyalty. They dislike it because it launched unfinished, relied too heavily on forced exclusives, ignored community features early on, and took a long time for them to start listening to the PC gaming community. And after all these years, Steam continued to dominate the platform, not because it was the perfect launcher, but because it was built around player experience. Until Epic Games Store fully understand the trust, community, and quality of life features matter more than free giveaways, it will always feel like a secondary option rather than a true replacement. So now the question goes to you guys. Do you actually play or buy games on Epic Games Store, or do you just claim the free ones and leave? And has Epic Store improved enough to earn your trust, or Steam still the only launcher that feels right? I would love to know your honest thoughts down in the comment section, and if you enjoyed this style of deep PC gaming discussions like this, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned to the channel. Thanks for watching guys. I'll catch you guys soon in the next one. Stay safe.